Started as a text at 10 a.m. out of nowhere with a set of coordinates. Coordinates led to a location. The location led to a man in a suit with paper and a coin. That coin and the paper led to a super early, secretive 7 p.m. IMAX screening of John Wick Chapter 4. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it so much that I kept my premiere tickets for next week until after the credits were done, just to make sure it wasn't all a fever dream. Long story short, I deleted those tickets, I have my coin, and we are here to tell you, John Wick Chapter 4, it doesn't just kick your ass, it kicks your ass, picks you up, dusts you off, punches you in the throat, and throws you in front of a car, and then drags your dead body to your grave, and then kicks your ass into the grave. This movie takes the action that we've seen in the first one, the second one, the third one, the action in Atomic Blonde, the action in Bullet Train, and action in Violent Night, and it dials it up times 50. This movie will melt your brain. We get creative. We get everything from gun fu. We get everything from using vehicles as weapons. Dogs are weapons. The pencil makes a comeback. If you name it, if you see it, it's a weapon. But it wouldn't be a movie if it was just an action scene. So we do have a story. We have a story here that, and I'm going to go ahead and preface this now, spoilers ahead. We have a story here that ties it together. This is it. John Wick Chapter 4 is the end. He is tired. He's done. And you can see that in Keanu's movements. He brings a very world weariness. The movements are a little slower. They're a little bit more labored. He's still...
Now, don't get it twisted. He's still doing his thing, but they definitely are not, like, compared to the last movie, the fluidness of just like, it's definitely like a slower, like, but, like, still with, like, the power behind it.
And what's interesting, too, is that he is matched up against people who are younger, or they're faster,
True.
But they don't have that freight train out of will like he has, because he is literally a man on a singular mission to be free. That's how he started in the first one. That's how he ends it here. Some highlights include Scott Adkins in a fat suit going to town
really
on John
awesome.
Wick. Now, the sound design here is incredible all the way throughout the movie, but Scott Adkins in this fat suit, and of course anybody that knows Scott Adkins knows that he has a huge, martial arts background and everything like that. He picks up John Wick, he slams him down, and in IMAX theater you get the crack of thunder that rocks through it, because he's really supposed to be like big and intimidating. He gets the snot kicked out of him, but he always comes back because, it's that trope. The big guy can't get taken down easily. We have a lot of newcomers this time around, too. You have Bill Skarsgård as the bad guy, and he's not even like the top bad guy. He's not like the entire table. He's essentially like the last line of defense that the table sends out and says, you know what?
True.
If John can take out this guy, that's fine. We'll drop it. We'll leave him alone.
We'll leave it be.
But of course, in this movie, in this series, everything comes at a cost, and we see that as the movie goes, it takes a toll. But
almost every character has a cost.
It does. Everybody runs into something that they lose, whether it is or potentially could lose.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. This is probably the most story that we've gotten out of these movies and the most matureness. I mean, of course, you still have your over-the-top kills and everything like that to get the crowd jumping and going and everything. But we do have some quieter character moments. Actually, almost from the outset, once we get past our beautiful, gorgeous intro out in the desert, once we hit Japan, we get an idea that this probably isn't going to go the way that we think it's going to go. Keanu, he's just killing it, man.
Every time.
No pun intended. He's a fantastic actor. Honestly, the amount of lines he has here is probably enough to fit on a postcard or a note card, honestly.
But they're effective.
They are effective, and just his looks and everything like that. The way that he handles himself and carries himself, it fits. Ian McShane is back as the manager, and he's great. I think he gets more to do here than besides just sit there and drink.
He talks more than John does.
He does. No, he does, and he's fantastic. Lawrence Fishburne's back. He's chewing up the scenery.
He's incredible. Oh my gosh.
Lance Reddick is the concierge. I love me some Lance Reddick, and that's all we're going to... Even though we said spoilers abound, that's all we're going to say about Lance Reddick. He is fantastic.
No, but Skarsgård?
Skarsgård killed it.
I appreciate him. I appreciate him a lot.
This series, and this is a series that other movies and other franchises can look at, this series is no slouch when it comes to bad guys. They're memorable in their own way in each and every movie. They have memorable lines in each and every movie. They're not forgettable. That's an impressive feat 4 movies in. You know, they've done a fantastic job.
And you could just see Skarsgård's character's like the build up to his demise, just slowly and surely he's like losing touch with like, I will get what I want, and everybody around him's like, you need to know when to stop.
Too busy following the rules, and finally when he decides maybe these rules aren't for me, well, the rules come back and they bite him in the It's a beautiful full circle moment. Speaking of beautiful, this is hands down the most gorgeous John Wick has ever looked in this franchise. Out of all...
Are you talking about like the locations or actual like Keanu? Both.
This is a beautiful movie though. I mean, from the opening in the desert, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous scenery and landscape there. And then the lighting through all of the various scenes and action set pieces. There's one set piece in particular which will go down as one of my favorite action set pieces. And it involves a dance club that has water going everywhere, and the lighting and the strobe lights and the music. I mean, it is a gorgeous scene. They use slow motion effectively. The sound design is on point, impeccable. It's a beautiful scene. You'll know it clearly when you see it. And then there's the finale, and it is stunning. Now in IMAX, we saw this in IMAX, because that's where the screening was. I would say that this would probably look even better in Dolby. That 4K
I don't know if there
projection,
would be a difference, to be honest.
Just stunning.
I mean,
Stunning.
it was fine without it, in my opinion. I feel like it'd be fine either way, even in standard.
We got a lot of praise for it. You know, we have some incredible action scenes. There's one action scene as well, in particular, two standouts, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get to our grand finale here. There's an action scene that takes place in an abandoned building, and then the camera's following Keanu, and then it goes up. And then it focuses.
Mr. Nobody and the dog, man.
Mr. Nobody and the dog are there as well. John's
Does
fighting
the
the
dog have a name?
goons. It's the dog. And I gotta tell you, the action scene, he has like a pump action shotgun with dragon's breath,
cool.
and my jaw was on the floor.
That's awesome.
We have reached peak action scenes with this movie.
It was really good.
And then there's another one, which we will refer to as the staircase. And this staircase is the most pushing that boulder up the hill scene metaphor that I've ever had in my entire life in a cinematic experience. And when I tell you, that crowd was going nuts. And to the stuntman who was involved with the falling down the stairs, if there is not a stunt category in the Oscars, they have failed you, because, sir, you took those stairs
like a champ.
John Wick Chapter 4. We saw it hella early. It doesn't come out until technically like next Thursday.
So cool.
See it. If you were on the fence about it, see it. If you weren't sure.
We had such an eclectic group of people.
It was a wild group of people in there.
It was so cool though. Like everybody was just like into it. Everybody was into it. There wasn't a moment where nobody was into it from what I could see through my hands.
Go see it. If you're a John Wick fan, you're on the fence.
Take your friends. Like this is like a great,
It's a fantastic, wonderful movie. Gets the blood pumping. You'll feel like you can knock out the guy holding the door open for you on your way out. If you guys have a chance to go see it, if you plan on seeing it, let us know. If you were there at the screening, let us know. If you got one of the coins, let us know that as well. And until next time, guys, this has been VHS Tacos signing off. Also, one final note. Stay after the credits for the first time in this franchise. You will not be disappointed.
No.
Adios.
Bye. You're a crackhead.
Yeah.
Hey!